Let's talk cats with Tech Up Dave. How are you?
Good afternoon, yeah.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm very well. I actually know someone who had, until recently, very sadly, one of them left us, two lovely rescue cats, who has a bunny as well.
Bunny as well?
And they're coexisting peacefully.
Sounds like our celebrity cat of the week.
Well, let's get to the celebrity cat of the week.
4 or 5 dogs and another cat.
In a minute, but first of all, let's do Cat of the Week.
It's Cardi B's Cat of the Week.
Now, we will be doing Celebrity Cat of the Week in a second, but we're doing the normal Cat of the Week at the minute. Who is the Cat of the Week this week, Dave?
This week's Cat of the Week is a bit complicated.
It's a bit... How can it be complicated?
Well, it's called Fluffy.
Yes.
And also known as Supertanker and Wide Load. But
it's a bit of a chunky cat, is it?
Yes. So this Fluffy was rescued from next door's back garden, says Sandra and Mark from Birmingham.
Right.
I'm not sure whether the people next door knew that the cat was being rescued.
Okay, okay.
But anyway, they call her Supertanker and Wide Load as well, as she's so big.
Yeah, see, we can see video of this rather chunky cat on the screen if you're watching on TalkTV as well.
And now we get even more complicated because the vet said that she's a boy.
Oh, okay.
But we think she's too lovely to be a boy.
Boys can be lovely too.
And, well, yeah. Apparently she kisses us like a human and is so affectionate. And sometimes she comes in with a black moustache.
What's that about?
I don't know. That's all it
Comes
said.
in with a black moustache.
I can only assume it's been rummaging through
dirt or coal or something.
So that's the first gender fluid cat we've had.
Listen, the cat is a boy, but its owners identify it as a girl. Looks very, very lovely there. That is Fluffy, aka Supertanker, aka Wide Load, nominated by Cat Mum and Dad, Sandra and Mark from Birmingham. Oh, look. Oh, just so beautiful. Anyway, listen, if you can't see Fluffy on the screen, never fear, because after the programme, after I have a bit of a gossip with Dave, I will put it on my Twitter, which is at Peter Cardwell. But I can say that Fluffy is genuinely a wonderful Cat of the Week. And now we move on to Celebrity Cat of the Week, who is Maggie.
Yes.
Now, I will tell you about Maggie, because I know, I in fact know and indeed have met Maggie, who is on the screen as well. Now, there's a lovely woman called Rosemary, and Rosemary is Rosemary Campbell, who worked at the Northern Ireland office in Belfast, and there were 3 cats there that Rosemary, for many, many years, Rosemary's just left the Northern Ireland office to go to another job. She looked after these cats for many years at Stormont House in Belfast, and then Stormont House moved, the Northern Ireland office moved its offices, and Maggie was the only cat left at that stage because others had very sadly died. And Rosemary, of course, took Maggie and brought her home. Now, you can see on the screen there are many pictures of the lovely Maggie, who had to adjust from being kind of a feral cat. There she is behind the former Secretary of State, Theresa Villiers, getting in the shot there, photobombing, and the team moving to new offices. The big question everybody was worrying about was what's going to happen to Maggie. So, of course, she moved to Rosemary's house to see how she coped, and into the dining room she went, and Rosemary's cat Donal was very interesting. They eat together. Donal lets Maggie eat first, and then eats what is left.
Yes.
Which is very nice.
Most of the time.
Most of the time, but not all of the time.
Not all of the time. And then when Donald goes in first, apparently, Maggie gives him the look of the, don't you know who I am?
Well, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Maggie has been with Rosemary since last March. Rosemary's doing a great job. She spends, apparently, I think this is Maggie rather than Rosemary, spends the long summer days in the sun. When it gets dark, she goes. If it is rain, she goes. Who knows? She would like the Eurovision Song Contest, spending lazy evenings in front of the telly, and apparently she likes a bit of TalkTV.
Hello, Maggie.
Hello, Maggie, and hello, Rosemary, as well. Well, I have met Rosemary, and I know you're familiar with the biblical story of the widow's mite.
No.
So it's basically this biblical story about you should not talk about your charitable giving because it's a bit unbecoming. And basically there's a very rich man who said, look, I'm putting this money in, and then there was a widow who put in half her income, and so you shouldn't show off about your charitable giving. But let's just say Rosemary may have been slipped a few quid by a certain special advisor at the Northern Ireland office for Maggie and indeed the other cats' upbringing. And there were lovely security staff there as well. And I'll tell you something, working at the Northern Ireland office, as I did as a special advisor under 2 Secretaries of State, was not always the most fun. Sometimes sometimes it was quite serious.
Yes.
And actually seeing Maggie every morning was just lovely.
Apparently Grigor was one of the security guards who was there overnight and used to feed Maggie.
Yes.
And now Maggie likes to be fed at 4 a.m. in the morning.
Well, listen.
So that's your fault, then,
She's used to it now. She's used to it now.
Oh, dear.
Goodness me, goodness me. Well, listen, that is our Celebrity Cat of the Week. That is Maggie, who is now happily living with Rosemary, and thanks to Rosemary for that. Rosemary does a wonderful job. Now, a little while ago, the Fun Police, a.k.a. Weekend Editor Phil Dave, banned...
I can feel his eyes
boring into the back of your neck. Banned the Biscuit Breakdown. The Biscuit Breakdown is no more.
No.
And we're definitely not having the Biscuit Breakdown now. This is not the Biscuit Breakdown. Neha?
Cardi B's Biscuit Breakdown.
This is definitely not the Biscuit Breakdown. No. Banned by order of the management. Absolutely not the Biscuit Breakdown. I should be very clear that this is not happening. In no way is this a Biscuit Breakdown, because there is a story about Twixes that you have found. In fact, we get an email from Weekend Editor Phil Dave, who goes through the papers and picks out the stories that we should talk about.
Yes.
So, Phil, you're the author of your own downfall here.
Your fault.
Your fault, Phil. Tell us about the Twixes.
So, apparently, and I didn't even realise this, there is a reason the humble Twix is called a Twix.
Right. Why is it called a Twix? By the way, just for clear editorial purposes, and I know my personal trainer Johan is watching at the moment because I've told him to, and I meant to keep a food diary of everything I eat because I'm trying to lose weight, but for editorial purposes only, both Dave and I have a Twix. Do you not have your own Twix?
No, you held yours upside down.
Oh, I held it upside down. Oh, sorry. Holding it... This isn't going very well. Right, I think we can open the Twixes. I'm going to munch this Twix. In the non-biscuit break, this is in no way a biscuit breakdown.
So these are made by Mars, who also, if you remember, did the Celebrations chocolates thing at Christmas when they said they were going to take the bounties.
Banned bounties,
So I'm not sure whether this is just a marketing ploy that's worked really quite well because they've got them on the telly. But apparently it's been on the shelves for 55 years and there's a reason it's called Twix. And
why
do you know why it's called Twix?
No, I don't. Tell me.
It's called Twix because it's short for twin sticks.
Twin sticks?
Yes, because you've got two sticks.
Yeah.
Twin, sticks.
I mean, I never knew that. I never knew that.
It's a genius.
It is genius. It is genius. Well, thank you. Sorry to Johan, but I am eating a Twix. I'm sure he would say as part of a balanced diet, he is a bit of a nutrition genius. We should have him in sometime, actually. Talk about all that kind of stuff. We will at some stage.
To not tell him about the biscuits you eat?
Probably not tell him about the biscuits and the two custard creams I had earlier. But anyway, you will not be here next week. You're taking a well-deserved day off.
I'm taking a day off.
You're in Legoland this week, but where are you going next week?
Next week I'm going to the London Stadium. I'm going to a thing called Monster Jam, which if you remember...
Apologies, no, you've got to give it its correct title. Monster Jam!
Which I went to last year, which is basically lots of huge monster trucks.
Right.
And they do amazing stunts, but this year they're revealing some new ones. I think there's some footage floating around of last year's. They're releasing some Marvel ones this year. So the Amazing Spider-Man, Iron Man, Black Panther,
so they've basically taken
and Thor are going to be turned into big trucks.
They've taken the uber geekery of Marvel and combined it with the uber geekery of monster trucks.
Yes. Like a
1,500... you're going.
1,500 horsepower truck. They do massive jumps and everything.
So basically, I have to deal with another tech up next week. Yes. I have to relearn everything how it all works because you're taking it. I've told you before, you're not allowed to take days off.
You can go if you want. Go to MonsterJam.com.
We can see Monster Jam. We can see these trucks on here.
You can see these massive trucks.
Well, I think, Dave, what you should do is make us a little video, perhaps, of what's going on. I think we should play it. Now, it has to be worthwhile for radio as well because we've got to remember people listen to the radio as well. But I think would you do that for us?
I can do that. I'll stand by one of their tyres, which apparently are 1.7 metres high and 1.1 metre wide.
Okay, fair enough.
Sounds a bit wide.
I'll be 1.1 metre wide if I finish that Twix. And I gather you have a glamorous assistant who'll be also going to Monster Jam with you?
I do, yes. My glamorous assistant, my daughter.
Daughter Louise.
Yes, Wonderful. Daughter Louise is coming along with me as camera op.
Well, I hope you have an amazing time, Dave. That is rather wonderful. Thank you for that. Also, your shirt is appalling, as always.
It's the weather today.
It's the weather. Is it? Should we have palm trees today? I don't know. Is it really hot? It is really hot today.
It's really hot.
Yes.
Red hot.
Absolutely. Red hot. Yes, indeed. I have a text here from Johan. Hold on. Shall I read it out?
I was just going to say Trisha Goddard's next, but I don't think we're going to have time for a handover.
Let's talk to Trisha briefly, but Johan, my personal trainer, has sent me a screenshot of me eating the Twix, saying, caught Twix-handed. There we are. Trisha, we have about 30 seconds. Are you eating a Twix?
No, I don't indulge in that because it's too difficult to get British chocolate out here in the States, and American chocolate's absolutely disgusting.